Ha. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. There it is. Okay. Here we go. So, oops, see, this is what happens to me. This thing gets stuck up here. Oh, this, my cursor. Hold on a second. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me escape one more time. Let me put this down here. Once I get up, once I start this thing, my cursor doesn't let me move my cursor. So if anybody comes in, they're not, I'll have to stop real quick. I hope you don't mind, let people in. Okay, let's see here. So we're already on lesson 4, and I know some of you got the book, The 5-Minute Gardener, and it's written by Nicole Burke. She's my garden coach from Gardenary. And I don't know if anybody's ever read the 4-Hour Work Week. Do y'all remember that book, The 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss? It was one of these books. It was out, probably 10, 12 years ago. And it was just crazy because, who's going to do a whole week of work in only 4 hours, right? Try that. And I sort of like the idea, the 5-Minute Gardener is a similar one, but I still like the idea of it because of the fact that it gives us a mindset. Oops, here we go again. Sorry, guys, real quick. I got to let Anna be in. Hi, Anna. We're started already. We started on time today. Am I sharing? Is that right? Let me make sure I'm sharing. Okay. So we're talking about the book, The 5-Minute Gardener, and it's all about getting your mindset, starting new habits. We've got Christy on the phone. Oops, we got Julie now. I'm sorry, you guys. This is not good the way I'm doing this. Hey, Julie. Um, so we're talking. Sorry, we're gonna just have to start all over again. Everybody's just coming in. I'm sorry. Next time I won't start so early. With this idea, this mindset idea that we are going to start using at least 5 minutes of time, not feeling like if you want to go out in the garden, you're just going to have this whole 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is. Like just have this new mindset. I have 5 minutes of time. I'm going to run out to my garden and check on it. So that's what I want to talk about today. Feeling like gardening is a treat. It's not a chore. So why 5 minutes matter? And it's just because if you are consistently out there, it really does prevent the overwhelm. Because otherwise, if you just do, it's just like anything in life, just doing a little bit every day goes such a long way. And on top of that, we get to connect with nature. So, what can we do in 5 minutes? And I have a list of things, you guys, and I want you to, if you have some notes, just take some notes because what I ended up doing when I first started gardening, I found myself with my 5 minutes, I would go out and look at everything. But instead of just looking, I need you to make sure you have your tools in a bucket or a bag. Make sure you have your clippers, make sure you have a bucket for trash, make sure you have your twine. What else? All your things, maybe even a plant marker or a magic marker so that you like, oh, that plant marker got lost. I need to redo that. You want all your tools with you because if you have them with you and you be proactive in your 5 minutes that you're out there, you're going to see that you're going to be so happy that you got, oh, have some seeds ready, have things that you're going to really have all these things that you can do instead of just looking at your plants. Now, it is good to look at your plants. You want to be checking them to see if they have any diseases, if they have maybe a leaf or two that you can pick off and get rid of because that helps strengthen the plant. But mainly, you just want to have it in your head, all the things that you can be doing in 5 minutes. So some of the things are having your extra soil on hand that you can I like to just sprinkle it around. You'd be surprised of how fast that soil just compacts down. So you always want to be sprinkling a little more. When you have your irrigation, once you sprinkle the soil on top, you want to pull up that irrigation and bring it back up to the top so that it's really flowing well. So sprinkling potting soil, sprinkling worm castings, sprinkling compost, whatever you have around to sprinkle, be sprinkling all year long, all the time, always, always, always refreshing. The soil is your number, well, the sun is number one, but the soil is number one as well. Your good soil, you refreshing your soil, you're always amending your soil. You can't do that enough in our vegetable garden. So here's this list I was telling you about. Here's some things that you can have in mind when you have 5 minutes. You can clear this, you can clear your debris. Sometimes you'll see, if you have a lot of trees around, that the leaves will fall into your raised bed. Or sometimes the wind just blows some of the leaves off your plants. You want to get the leaves off the bottom because they are going to be places where bugs and insects can hide and diseases can hide. So you really want to keep your raised bed just like you would your house. You want to keep it neat and tidy. You want to have time that you can go and organize your tools, making sure that they're clean, making sure that they're sharp. We can go over all those another, maybe that's another lesson. I think keeping your tools clean and sharp is a whole nother lesson right there. Amending the soil, which is what we just talked about. Also, at the certain times of the year, especially right now, we can just do direct sow the seeds right into the ground. You can do your cucumbers. You can do your radishes and your lettuce. Well, we're not going to do lettuces anymore. We can do your cucumbers. We can do flowers. We can do a lot of things right now directly into your garden. We don't want any space in there. We want it filled up with plants. We want to be checking for pests. Once we get those tomatoes growing in a few months, I warn you that tomato hornworm can get out there and get on those plants. And they leave little black, looks like a little sesame seed dropping. And you'll be looking at your tomato plants and you'll go, what are those little brown spots on the leaves? And you don't see anything. And you're going to say, oh no, I've got tomato hornworms. I got to get rid of them. So how are you going to do that? Because they look you cannot see them. They're so sneaky. They look exactly like the stem of a tomato. And what you do is you go out at night with a black light, and they are like a scorpion. They turn, they glow with their black red light. And when you find them, that's up to you what you want to do with them. But you want to pick them off, put them in some soapy water, or pick them off, and I just cut them. Sometimes I just cut them with the scissors because I really don't want to be near those things. They're not going to hurt you, but they're just pesty and they eat your plant up. Watering, we can water. So especially in the summer, early morning or late at night, we want to give our gardens an extra drink, even though it's set for almost every day in the summertime. Even that isn't going to be enough sometimes for our plants. So get that water meter out, check your garden, and if it needs it, you're going to want to do extra watering. And you can do that so quickly, and it's so fun to do in the mornings or at night. And the best part is harvesting. So you can always go out and harvest whatever it is that maybe some herbs or some whatever it is that you want to have for dinner. You can go out and harvest. The other day, I had a bunch of my Swiss chard is doing really well right now. So I just picked a bunch of Swiss chard and steamed that up with a little bit of garlic and olive oil, and I had that for lunch with some cottage cheese. It was delicious. So, and of course, cooking in the garden. So those are your daily chores. Wait a minute.
I have a fun guest today, and I have one of my client, Rosemary, and she called me the other day and said, I've got a bunch of things that I've inherited in my shed, and I don't know what to do with it. So we're gonna
idea. What is this stuff?
right. So we're gonna go in and check it out and say, let's play a game. Should it stay or shall it go?
I had to put that in. That's a little video that I did with Rosemary recently. I went to her house because she said, I have so much stuff in my shed that I don't even know what it is. And we had so much fun because went through things. Did you inherit that shed, Rosemary?
My house, the people who moved, they moved out of the state and they just left so much stuff. And the other day, I used a little electric chainsaw for the first time. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. And I just had never used it before.
So yeah, so if you guys have a shed full of of inherited things or some things that you just need to get rid of, it's always good to take some time and get in there. So clearing your space, making sure everything, like right now, we're getting ready to take out some plants. If you've already been growing, we want to take out some things that are like for my arugula is totally bolting right now. I have a hard, I don't know what to do about my arugula because the bees are over there just drinking it and loving it, the arugula flowers. So I hate to take it down, but I think I need to put some other things in my pot there. So we'll have to see what I'm going to do. And on the picture on the right is somebody cleaning their tool. And cleaning your tools is as simple as if you just Google clean garden tools, there's lots of different ways to do it. This is like a little water with some bleach in it, and you just let the tool soak. You can use vinegar, you can use peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. So there's lots of ways to clean your tools, but you want to keep them clean. And don't forget, keep a spray bottle of some, what is it? A spray bottle of alcohol mixed with a little bit of water. That's a great way to keep your tools sterilized between cutting. And of course, you want to have a bag of worm castings around or compost. And another thing, on a regular basis, especially at least 3 times a year, I really want you to get out there and check on your irrigation. You want to make sure there's no holes clogged. This is the garden grid that I put in so many people's gardens. They're fabulous, but every once in a while, one of the little holes get clogged up. So I just take a little pin and punch it in the hole, and the water just comes back out again. But you do have to check on it because all that calcium in our water really clogs it up. And again, sometimes it's a rainy day or it's a cold day or it's just a day you're not feeling too good. You can stay home and dream up your planting plans. And that's always fun to do. Here's a little bit. I think I have this video going. Oh yeah, that's me harvesting some lettuce. So when you're harvesting, you're just taking the outer leaves, never more than a third of the plant. I mean, if you have a ton of lettuce and you just have tons and tons and tons and it's getting gorgeous and big, you can take the whole head. But why do that when you can just, it's called cut and come again. You can just cut a little bit and come back. My Swiss chard's that way, the kale's that way, all your herbs. The more you cut your herbs, the more they're going to grow. That is like, it's so not intuitive. You're thinking, oh, I know. That's another thing. It's so funny. Are any of you all ever bought a new dress or a new outfit and then it just hangs in your closet because you're scared to wear it? Well, that's how it is with our plants. We're going to let them start growing and growing and growing. And all of a sudden, one day you're going to be like, when am I going to harvest? Like, I'm scared to harvest it. I don't want to ruin the plant, or is it too soon? Or that's why this year-long program is so good, because when we get to that part of harvesting, we are going to be able to answer those questions. You're going to see in a few months when you've got things growing, you're going to, and like even Julie the other day, she sent me a picture of her radish. She said, is this radish ready? It looks sort of small. You know, just to tell you right now, so you have it in your head, your harvests, your radishes and your tomatoes and especially the peppers, they are not going to be the same size as these giant things are at the grocery store, because the ones at the grocery store are being pumped up with all sorts of extra fertilizers and things like that we're not going to do. So we, just like an organic chicken is smaller than a regular chicken that you buy at the grocery store, that's the same way with our garden is. Our plants that we're harvesting are going to be a little bit smaller than the things that you get in the grocery store, but that's okay. And they're still delicious and they still work great. I'm seeing a lot of things going on in the chat. Let's see what this says here. Okay, we said hi from Anna. Oh, Anna, you wanted to know about the Fox Farm soil? We use it for everything, Anna. We use it for my pots. I use it as I amend it all the time. It's
Okay.
yeah, I love that Fox Farm. It's not cheap. That's the only thing. Like I wouldn't take, like if I was buying a big new raised bed, I always put in just regular soil, and then the top 2 inches are the fox farm.
So what
And
I'm
then,
gonna, oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just starting super simple. I'm inspired by Rosemary's herbs in the pots, and I'm going to start with that. So I want to go get some herbs and put them in my pots outside. And I was wondering if that's the soil that I would use for the pots. Would I
Yeah,
use all that, or would I use a mix?
you can use a mix, and I can tell you why, because herbs are not as starving as vegetables.
Okay,
So save your money, and you can just get some regular soil and then use that Fox Farms, like,
just the top.
yeah, for the top part. And also when you dig your hole for when you dig the hole to put the herbs in, definitely add some Fox Farms in there.
Got it. Okay,
And
fantastic. Thank you.
don't forget when you go to buy your plants, if they come out of the plastic pot and all the roots are circling around, make sure that you gently loosen them, because you want to encourage them to spread out. When they get in that pot, they get stuck in there and they just circle around. And
Yeah,
then, so don't forget that part of it. You do want to loosen them up. Don't be afraid to do that. You're not going to hurt the plant at all, but it's just going to encourage them to keep growing out.
amazing. Thank you.
Also, I'm trying to propagate some rosemary so I can give everyone rosemary's, little
Oh,
baby rosemaries. So
Oh,
that's fab.
I'll
I
let you
love
know.
that.
I'll let you know when they're mature enough to share.
that would be awesome. That would be, see, this is exactly, Rosemary, you're so great. This is exactly what I want this group to be about. When you have a plethora of something, we can all share. If we have some extra seeds, we can do a seed swap.
Mhm.
That's what it's, and if we're trying, like, oh my goodness, if anybody's seed starting, I am doing a lot of seed starting. I might have some extra tomatoes and alyssum. And what else do I have? I'm doing a lot of little seed starting. So we'll see how they all do. If I can share some of my little seeds startings, that'll be really fun. Oops. Let's see what happened here. See, now it stopped. Oh, oh, this is harvesting. And this is Amy Mewborn. I don't know if she made it. I don't think she made it here. She's getting her hair done. That's another one of our students. I wanted to put everybody in, and Christy, I was going to mail you and say, Christy, I need a picture of you because I've got everybody's picture in here today in this presentation. But poor Christy, we'll start her next week. How about that? Because I'm going to be out there hopefully getting her big, beautiful garden started soon. So this is some harvesting. This is rosemary's. This was all her lemons and some tomatoes and some, look at that, eggplant and radishes and peppers. These are all the things that she actually harvested not too long ago, maybe what, 4 weeks ago? So that is very exciting. And there's Julie Tran. Oh, my beautiful Julie. That's her garden that we made for her. And she is getting out there and doing it too. So your 5 minutes a day can be just multiple times in the morning, in the afternoon can be good. Oh, by the way, afternoon, right now it's okay. But as we get in the summertime, if it's your only time you can get out there, you have to be super careful because we never want to wet water in the middle of the day because it just can, I mean, you can do a drip line, but you don't want to be getting your hose out and trying to water because the water will sprinkle on the leaves and they'll burn. So you'll see that every once in a while if you get the water on the leaves. It's not good for our little plants. They don't, it looks like it acts like a magnifying glass, and that water just beads up and burns the leaves. But evenings are wonderful, especially in the summer. And you have some alyssum growing and it smells so good out there, and you can enjoy your garden in the evening. So oh, I also said, let's put some whimsical. Oh, you know what? Did we see that? Oh, we don't have it, Julie. I wanted to put in wait, here it is. Julie, look at this gorgeous, instead of getting a plain old obelisk or trellis, she found this beautiful piece of art almost, and she's going to be growing up her tomatoes and her cucumbers and everything up this trellis. So you can have fun with your garden and make it yours and make it your style. Okay, oops. Oh, there's my radish there, Julie. And here's my pot of herbs, which I think is so pretty. So here's some things that I wanted to share that make so that you will be excited about this. I know Rosemary already knows some of this, but the chives, if you once you plant chives or chamomile or lavender or lemon balm or oregano or rosemary, parsley, all these things are going to come back every year. Now, parsley is a biannual and it will come back the second year, but then after that, it sort of fizzles out. So you need to, oh, wait, Julie, oh, shoot, something happened to Julie. I got to admit her again. Julie, did we cut out did you get it cut out somehow?
Yeah, I was trying to share a picture and then Zoom crashed.
Oh, shoot. Did you see
But
your,
no, that's okay. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, yeah, I saw that one. I was
okay,
gonna
good.
give you guys an updated picture of my obelisk with
Oh,
the snap, or not the snap peas. I don't know what they're just the peas. What do
oh,
you call them again? Yeah.
just a green bean, probably a green bean.
Oh, green beans. Yeah, they look so good. I just said it in
Oh,
the chat.
and did you see the flowers that come on that?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Um, so I'm starting to see the beans, the green beans. It's funny. I'm like, wait, what's the word for that? The green beans. And then I also see flowers coming out. Is that a bad sign because the flowers are coming out?
See, you guys, this is a great question. So basically, the flower will become the green bean. And
Oh,
if you look carefully, if you've got one, you might find like a green bean has a little bit of the dead flower at the bottom of it. And that's where it came from. So if you see flowers, then
hmm.
you're going to see more green beans.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
little confusing, right? Because sometimes things flower before they fruit, and then sometimes, like with the herbs, they'll, or like you said with your chard or whatever that was, that'll bolt into flowers, and then you want to get to the seeds, right?
Yes, so
So
like the arugula. So actually, that's a really good point. So yeah, so definitely, this is why there's so many nuances to plants, and you're going to have so much fun learning about it all. And it seems like a lot right now, but what you're going to find is that you're going to have your favorite plants, and they're going to happen over and over, and you're going to just get used to them. So yes, so the green beans, and think about this: anything with a seed inside of it is called a fruit. So really, a green bean is a fruit. So is a squash. So is a tomato. And those all flower first, and then the fruit comes out afterwards. So when you see those little yellow tomato flowers, you're going to start seeing a little tiny green ball on the inside, and that little green ball is going to be your tomato. And then,
Oh, good to know.
yes, and then your herbs, like the basil, you'll see as we get along, as we come along, because our basil's good. I can't wait to plant my basil. We can plant now. It's warm enough. So get your
Oh, so
basil,
we can plant
everything.
everything in the ground now?
Yes.
Nice. Not in the ground, but in your pots.
In
Or
your
maybe
pots, in your
yeah.
raised beds, and you can even like just there's some plants, and I actually have the plant list again. I'm gonna go over it again at the end because I knew that was gonna come up. So
Hmm.
we'll talk about that at the end, but we can actually plant everything right now except for like
Nice.
your okra or your melons. Those are still, it's a little too cool for the okra and melons, but everything else I think we're pretty ready to start planting again. So I'm excited. But as I was speaking, all these plants, I'm going to do it tomorrow. If you guys look on my post tomorrow, I'm going to take a picture, I'm going to do a video of my garden so you can see once the first 2 years of 1 or 2 years of your garden, it just takes a while to get it started because it's the things that come back every year, it's so nice because it keeps your garden filled out. And then you just sort of putting things in between. But when you first start, you just feel like you've got so much space and there's just like you don't feel like you can fill it up fast enough. But as you go along, you're going to see that certain plants come back and you're going to fill up that garden. It's going to look a lot more lush. So here are the plants that we can do right now. Now it's saying arugula, which I don't agree with that. So take that arugula off. We don't want to do that right now. But the heat tolerated, the lettuces that tolerate heat are the red lettuces and the romaine. So if those two you can go ahead and plant right now, we'll see how far they get before they bolt. But definitely your Swiss chard, uh, your eggplants are I don't know if they're quite, I would wait maybe another week for eggplants. The tomatoes are fine, basil, peppers, and the basil. And if you want to plant some fun flowers, the zinnias are beautiful and they're super zinnias. If you just get a packet of seeds of zinnias and sprinkle them around, you'll have them everywhere. Another flower that I don't have listed on here that's super easy to put in the garden and are so pretty is the cone flower. That is a really good pollinator plant. And it's called echinacea. So I guess that's what they make echinacea out of is the cone flower. And the cone flower definitely makes, if you let it go to seed, it'll make seeds forever. You'll never have to buy another package of cone flour once you have those out. And then, of course, your large things, like I said, the okra we're not quite ready to put in. I wouldn't quite put in the zucchini or squash yet, but everything else we're good.
And some of this stuff is going to be from seed, and some of it should not be planted in the garden from
Yes.
seed now,
So,
right?
so tomatoes, unless you started them in February, you need to go ahead and get the plant. So any kind of tomato, I would even say any kind of peppers need to be, go ahead and buy them because we have a pretty short season for until it gets too hot for them. So you don't want them burning up and frying. So definitely go ahead and buy. And when you buy tomatoes, don't forget, I want you to be picky about your which brand you which kind. So you go definitely get cherry tomatoes. They'll be fine. We don't want like a big boy. They always sell those everywhere. They're like, oh, get this big beefsteak or get the big boy. They're but we don't have enough time. There's not enough time from now until the 90 days. It takes 90 days for those to come to become big enough to harvest. So I would stick with the like a Roma tomato or just a smaller tomato. And that's about all we can do here because they just don't work, the big ones. Let's see here. Let me escape this real quick. Why this is can't see the bottom. Oh yeah, so the extra large plants are our melons, pumpkins, and winter squash. And I don't know why it's called winter squash because we don't plant it in the winter. We plant it in the summer. So
So Jamie, question.
yes.
Uh, my my Brussels sprouts, they
Oh,
haven't really done anything
okay.
at all. It looks almost the same exact size as when we planted it. Is it time to just pull it out to make
I,
space for something new?
yeah, I don't know why that didn't do well, but yeah, we'll just pull
Yeah.
it out. Yeah, that's too
Okay.
bad. And we might have been
Okay.
too
I'll do
late.
that.
I can't remember when did we do your garden? Was it in December?
Hmm, I'm not sure.
We
Probably like between November and December.
Yeah, it's a little bit late. I felt like we
Okay.
could have put those in earlier.
That's all right. We'll just toss this. And then what about the flowers, the sonnet burgundies? Should they
Oh,
just stay?
oh yeah, just keep the flowers.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're not, sorry. They're called the
snapdragon.
snapdragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep them there.
Yep. I keep
Okay.
they're a cool weather plant. So depending if you have enough plants around them that shade them, they will stay for a long time.
Uh-huh.
If they get too much sun on them, they'll just collapse. So
Okay.
just know that
Okay.
the way the snapdragons snap.
And then as far as seeds, like I know that we had planted some green onion seeds, some bunching
Yeah,
onions, but
yeah.
they're like only an inch tall.
Just keep them.
So just keep them.
Yep.
Okay. And just
You
keep
cannot,
fertilizing them.
yeah, you keep doing that. And then also you can, well, I was gonna say, yeah, let's just let them keep going for a little bit longer because it's not
Okay.
too hot for them yet.
I was gonna say, like, should I just sprinkle more seeds? Or it's the wrong
Yeah,
season to sprinkle
I would.
seeds?
Yeah, you could keep going with some more seeds. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Will
good.
do. Thank you.
Welcome.
So, Joe Jimmy, I put a lot of seeds in about 9 days ago, and only my radish seeds are coming up.
Did you do carrots?
Yep, I did carrot, spinach, lettuce, bunching onions, radish, and beets. Maybe some green.
I have to tell you, it's so weird. I I couldn't get a carrot to grow to save my life this year. I kept planting carrots. I don't know why. if my seeds were bad or what, but I couldn't get carrots to grow at all. I didn't get one carrot. Radishes were hit and miss, and I didn't do beets this year, but beets,
Hmm.
it's just so funny. I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing about the plants around here is like sometimes they go do well. And I mean, I got this, couple of really beautiful radishes, but what happened to all the rest of them? I couldn't grow kale this year. Rosemary, didn't you grow kale real well?
Yes,
Yeah.
that one kale plant that I bought, and it was probably like last March. I'm still harvesting that. I just made soup this weekend for my girlfriends. I was like, look, I just harvested kale and I'm gonna put it in our soup for the Tuscan. It's a Tuscan Zupa copycat recipe from Olive Garden.
Oh, yum.
So good.
So, and you just said you bought it as a plant.
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I was trying to do it with seed. Now I'm actually starting some kale seeds, and they're
Mhm.
just about an inch tall. So, but it can get, I think it's even a little bit warm for kale to be planting it right now. So we'll see. But it's just all hit and miss. But at least we're doing it where we know we're going to start with the warm weather plants right now. And that's the best time to do it. And hopefully going forward we'll get a few things to uh to take off for us. Oh, why is this not letting me? That's weird. Oh, that must be the end of it. Okay, so I'm going to take this off for sharing, and then we're just going to have a little chat here. Here we are. uh I have a little talk today that I'm going to tell you about, which is all about fertilizing. Now, this is a little bit of an advanced, but it's not really. I really want you guys to understand this is sort of unnecessary extra information, but it's going to give you a little bit of science behind the fertilizing, which I think is good to know. But in the end of all of this, your fertilizing is super easy because if you just use the worm castings in compost and fox farm and fish emulsion, you're going to do your plants should be pretty darn happy. But in case you feel like you need a little extra boost, I want to give you some information, and especially if you have some trees. This is actually very important to know, which I know Rosemary has a whole orchard of fruit trees. And I know Julie Tran has a couple of fruit trees, so this is good to know about those as well. So when you get a bag of fertilizer, let's just say you go to Star Nursery and they have all those bags. It's so confusing, and they say three letters on it. It's NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the three elements that we're always going to need to add into our garden. So the first one is the nitrogen. And when you think about nitrogen, just think it's the green machine. The nitrogen is the green machine. So nitrogen is all about giving those a good start to their roots that help produce those leaves. You need your seedlings, especially your new transplants, to have a lot of nitrogen so that they really get a good start and start producing those nice, healthy green leaves. So it encourages leafy growth and strong stems. And this nitrogen is really essential for young plants, leafy greens, and herbs. So that's what you want to think about when you are deciding on what type of, uh, like for instance, fish emulsion is um, is very high in nitrogen. Why am I frozen? I'm sorry, I'm getting some text. Sorry, you guys. Um, the fish emulsion is very high in nitrogen. So you got to be careful because if your plants are in the stage of flowering, they're trying to produce fruit, you do want to stop with the nitrogen. You don't want to put any more in right now because you want them to be encouraged to flower. And that brings me to my next nutrient, which is phosphorus. And phosphorus is the middle number. And that's what a high phosphorus number will be really good when your plants or your trees are trying to fruit, that's when you want to add something with a high phosphorus number. So what would be in that? What would be a high, something kind of, what would be something that has a lot of phosphorus in it? It is bone meal, banana peels, and the what is it? Microza. The Fox Farms has two types of soil. They have the one with the frog on it. It's a brown bag with a frog on it, and that has this special phosphorus that's really good for flowering plants. So maybe when your plants are flowering, you want to get a bag of that instead of the one with the fish on it, and add that to your plants, like in your mostly like your tomatoes and things, or your squashes and zucchinis, or your melons. When they're fruiting, you want to add something that has a lot more phosphorus in it. And then the third one is a potassium, and that's the protector. Potassium, the protector. And it also is very good for helping make your plant disease resistant. And you can really use that at any time. So that's in kelp meal, it's in compost, it's in molasses water. I haven't talked about molasses water. We're going to wait and talk about that when our plants are more growing. But there is a new thing out which is very interesting, and it's called molasses water, and it's so easy. It's just organic blackstrap molasses. I think you put maybe a tablespoon in a gallon of water, and you water your plants with it. And you know what happens? The plant absorbs that sweet molasses, and it makes it too sweet for the bad insects to want to eat your plant. So it's a very, very cool and very successful. It's all of my gardenary coaches have been talking about this. If you want to Google the DIY blackstrap molasses for keeping bugs off your plants, it's definitely something that I haven't tried it yet, and I'm dying to try it if I need to. So that's going to be on my list. And then Rosemary brought up this week about the aloe vera water. Did you hear about that? Unmute yourself, Rosemary, and tell us about the aloe vera water.
Yeah, so I wanted to give my little seedlings a boost, and I happen to have a ridiculous amount of aloe. So I just went out there and kind of trimmed it up and grabbed some fat ones, scraped them out. I think it's one to three or 1 to 4 ratio, and you just blend it up and water everybody with it. It's super good for people for plants that are trying to grow roots. So it's like a natural root tone. Uh,
Oh, okay. So you're
so
saying, so when you get the aloe vera, you cut it and then all that gooey, right? And you
Yeah,
just scoop that
scrape
out,
out the goo with
scrape it
the
out
spoon, throw it in the blender,
with some
and
water.
with some water. Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. I think you're supposed to use, I used RO water. I don't know, you maybe use something else, but yeah. And so I just gave it to my little friends today during their hardening.
Oh, they're hardening off. Okay, so we were talking about that. Well, when you are growing seedlings, or even if you go to the Star Nursery, you guys, and get plants, think about that. They're still pretty sheltered in there.
Mhm.
So you don't really want to go home and just start throwing them in the ground. You maybe want to come home and let them sit out for a day or two if you can, and let them just get a little bit more used to it. I mean, I do throw my things like right now. You could throw them in because it's pretty mild weather, but
Mhm.
if it gets to where it gets hotter or something like that, you want to let them get a little more acclimated before you just throw them out there and stress them out. But I love that idea of the aloe vera water. I'm going to try that. I have so much of it here too that I would love
That's
to.
what I'm using for Rosemary's little babies.
Oh, to propagate them.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. All right, I'm going to have one. I have one more little treat to talk about today, which because it's a little bit this time of year, are going to start seeing some strawberries for sale in the nursery. Really, strawberries are really supposed to be planted in the fall, in September or November, but we can do them. It says late February, early March. We can do a different variety. And strawberries are not for the faint of heart. Have you tried, anybody here's tried growing strawberries? Did you have any success, Rosemary? No, no. I have not had very much success. Oops, you're muted. Oh, you're muted.
My apologies.
I think I grew like 3 strawberries, maybe.
I feel like the same way.
Probably not worth it, but my plants are doing great, and they did try to grow some more. Like, they're kind of they get a little
They
almost
get
like trellising, right?
runners.
Or yeah. And so I'm gonna keep just my one pot to see how it goes this season. I don't know. I just keep feeding it and
Yeah,
whatever.
they're heavy feeders. I also do believe that it is important to get the right variety. I don't know what kind I ended up with. I was at
I don't
Starling.
know either.
So if you want to write these down, these are the ones that are really good for Las Vegas. There's something called a seascape, which is an everbearing that says it tolerates heat well, and it says produces large, flavorful berries. You will not get a strawberry that looks like the ones at the grocery store, I promise you, but they will taste delicious. The smaller actually are more delicious, the better. Another version is Albion, and it also is good disease resistance. I haven't really had too much diseases with my strawberries. I just don't get any strawberries. Another variety is, I'm going to spell it, Quinault. Quinault. Another everbearing. And everbearing just means that it just continues to produce strawberries. I did see there was sometimes I just feel like it's in the right place at the right time. I saw a lady that had, it was funny, she had in the ground strawberries, and they were sort of near a tree, and they were a little bit shaded. And I mean, she got so many strawberries, but it took a couple years. But I was like, okay, this was out in Summerlin. I said, this is it. We can do this. I'm going to keep trying. The other thing about strawberries is they actually do like a mound to be mounded. So you might want to put like a little hill, and you don't want to plant the plant too deep. You want to keep it on top of the soil. There's another, oh, listen to this brand, Chandelier. It says it needs afternoon shade. So that one sounds interesting. There's two more. One's called EV2, EVIE, and the number two. It said that's highly productive and can tolerate heat. And then the last one is Eversweet. I think that's one I have. It says bred specifically for warm climates and will keep producing even in the high temperatures. So the other thing is that it does need to have a bit of a, well-drained soil, but it definitely needs to keep it moist. You don't want that to dry out. And it needs a lot of compost. It needs a lot of feeding. So you need to keep that soil structure really good on it. And then you keep that crown at soil level. You don't bury that too deep, and then you just keep amending it. And then you really want to mulch it so you can do it with straw or pine needles. And then just keep it regularly watered, but not soggy. And then you have to keep it definitely fertilized. And then some shade. So, and here's the other thing it says, listen to this. So this is really important, Rosemary, or anybody that wants to listen to this. The ideal strawberry mix is 50% of the high quality potting mix, which I would say would be the Fox Farms, 30% compost, that would be a mixture of worm castings, aged manure, or like maybe even the chicken manure like you have for the mushroom compost. I've never seen mushroom compost around here, but a lot of people can get, I've heard other places in other cities can get mushroom, but I've never seen any mushroom compost here. Then you want 10% of the peat moss or the coconut coir. And that says that really helps improves the drainage. And then here's the clicker, and I've never tried this, but it says a sprinkle of the rock dust, because these trace minerals really do give really good, healthy fruit production. And then we have to do pH adjustment for the desert soil. So it needs to be a little more alkaline. You can get a pH, it's just like a water meter. Sometimes the water meter comes with a pH meter. It's super easy. You don't need batteries. And the pH for strawberries is supposed to be, it's a little, we need to have it 7.5. And our soil tends to be too alkaline, but we're going to be putting in really good soil So you should be okay with that. But it says the pine needles lower the pH, which is really good. And composted coffee grounds in moderation help with acidity, and they like that. So see what I'm talking about? This is a lot. This is a complicated order here, and it's not for the faint of heart. But one day I'm gonna put this in as our handout this week. So I'm gonna do that, and that way you guys can have it on your file, and then you can try it if you want. All right, everybody, we got a few more minutes. Let's talk about what we're going to be planting.
Do you remember what kind of tree she had her strawberries under?
So, because you're talking about companion planting, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what a good companion plant is for a strawberry.
Okay.
I'm going to write that down. That is such a good thing. You guys, do you all know what companion planting is? So companion planting is when you plant something, another type of plant next to your plant, and they actually really like each other. They're good neighbors. For instance, a tomato really loves basil. Carrots love tomatoes, which sounds sort of weird because carrots are cool weather and tomatoes are hot weather. Let's see. There's a really good book, and it's called Carrots Love Tomatoes. And it's all about companion planting. But I want to know what a good companion, if anybody wants to Google it real quick, let me know for a strawberry. That's really interesting. But that's one other reason why it really depends on your style of planting, but I really like the hodgepodge way of planting where you've got all sorts of different things competing. I also heard that tomatoes do not like cucumbers. So,
Oh.
yeah, so I have my two obelisks that I use. I use one for a tomato and one for a cucumber, and then every year I switch them over like that. But that because you always don't want to plant the same tomato. Usually, you do not want to plant the same tomato in the same pot because it's the nutrients get eaten up too much. But there is a way of preventing that. If you have limited space and you want to put a tomato and you want to put the same tomato back after you're done with the cool weather, in the cool weather, grow any kind of bean in that same spot, and those beans put all sorts of nitrogen back in the soil. So if you do that, if you grow a bean and it is successful and it grows up the trellis, once it's done, you cut that down and you can put your tomato in there and it's going to do really well.
So
So
just a quick AI feedback on the strawberries. It says
yes.
borage. I don't know what
Oh,
that
I
is.
have borage. I have borage
Borage?
out my, yeah, I have
Okay. Marigolds, lettuce, spinach, thyme, chive, and onions. They don't like cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli.
interesting. I have mine in a pot. You have yours in a pot too, so I don't have
Yep.
anything with it. But it likes a lot of other cool weather plants. Interesting. Yeah, I love that question. I think that companion planting, I think what I want to do is I want to talk about companion planting.
Yeah,
Every,
maybe with the garden, with the garden design layout.
yes,
That
it's
would be
good
good.
because like even though there's a lot that they do like, and there's some that they don't like. So it's
Hmm.
really is good to know when you're doing that. It is really good to know about your companion planting. No matter what, if you want to put marigold seeds in and try to grow them right now, marigolds are really one of the best flowers to have in your garden because they really do help with the pests. And you asked about borage. So borage is a really cool plant. I'll take a picture of it. I'll send it to you guys. I'm
Is
gonna
it edible?
well, this is the funny thing. It has the most gorgeous electric blue flower that comes out of it.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, it is the most, Google borage flowers. They are absolutely spectacularly gorgeous and they taste like cucumbers. They're an edible flower and you can put them in your salads. They're so gorgeous, people would freak out over them. And I have them growing in my garden right now. They're super easy. The seed of a borage seed is very cool. It's like a black triangle. And so it's super easy. You just sprinkle them around. They are the easiest thing to grow, and then it has these big leaves. And supposedly, now I don't eat borage leaves, but they are medicinal. So
Okay.
so they can't, but they're super easy to grow and they are great for pest production. Pest protection. You know, I was thinking of Christy because Christy has such a huge bed. Christy, we could put a lot of borage in there because it will fill up. It'll fill up and it'll start amending your soil. It's a really good plant to have. I forgot about that. We'll put some of that. We'll put some borage seeds in your garden.
That
And
would be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. And I have a question about because we kind of talked about doing the worms in my garden and
yes.
being a beginner, do you think that is something that like I could do easily too?
In
Because I
other words,
know
not to
you
over.
know you have to, yeah, you have to compost and keep them alive and all that. Would it be easier to just do the worm castings for the first year, or should I just try it and put like some red wigglers
Yeah.
in and test it out?
So what Julie's got this, I mean, Christy has a giant, I mean, how many feet? It's just this huge, beautiful, she put this big stone raised bed in her backyard. She's got quite a huge space. And she's got four boys, and so obviously a lot of food scraps. So she definitely wanted to compost, but she was a little bit concerned about trying to compost, I don't know, she just wanted to make it easy and put it right into the garden. So we're thinking about doing these compost. They're just these, actually, you know what they are? They're electrical bins
Mhm.
that you just stick in the wall and they have no bottom on them. And you just stick them in, and then you can put your scraps in there, and you can actually put them in like a decomposable bag. And you put
Mm-hmm.
scraps in, and then you add your red wigglers, and then you just keep feeding them. I think it's going to be pretty easy. You keep a lid on.
Okay.
The lady who I got the mulberry and the fig tree does that at her place.
Did she show it
Oh,
to you?
Yeah, because I was like, why do you have this? They were the little round ones that just pop right
Yes,
in.
that's what it is. That's what it
Yeah.
is. The little
And
round
she
one.
just kept like tossing the bad mulberries in there. And I was like, what is going on? Just in-ground composting that seems like a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So I did a lot of research on it. I've never done that either, but because she's got such a big yard, and it's actually going to be a lot easier than composting because she never has to turn it. And the
Right.
worms do
yeah.
it.
Oh, speaking of compost, I know you said it was important to keep it wet. Is
Yes.
that the fresh side should I also be putting water in there? Even if
Yes.
it's already wet because it doesn't have enough leaves?
Oh,
It's
so
real wet.
it's real wet. I actually did the same thing. I think I overwatered mine a bit, and then it started to get stinky.
Yeah.
Basically, compost never is never going to really smell too bad because you're always turning it, and you're always adding it, and um, it's if you keep in the right amount of greens and browns, it shouldn't really smell too bad. But if you accidentally overwater it, I just add extra browns and I just turn it, and then I actually even leave the lid off for a little bit just to help it get some more
Okay.
air.
Yeah, I still don't have a good source for browns.
You don't.
No. I saw some just brown paper at the discount store the other day in this huge roll, and I was like, should I buy that and cut it up and put it in my
No,
compost?
don't do that because I mean you
Seem
can't.
wasteful.
The paper, so paper is definitely you can like if you have a paper shredder, you can shred
Mhm.
your paper and put it in, but it's one of those things where the paper, if you use too much of it, it gets clumpy and
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. It's not. It's just one of those things. If you happen to have, I wouldn't
Okay.
buy the paper if you had paper laying around.
Yeah.
You know what I do? You guys, this is crazy. I save all my toilet rolls and
I
all.
started doing that.
Oh my gosh, you can't. Yes, I just got an entire bin of shredded paper and put it in my compost the other day. So
Okay,
that,
well, every time I change a toilet paper roll, which I'm the only person in this house that does that, I now get them and I rip them up into little pieces and I put them in my compost bin.
it.
I don't think it's helping enough, though. It's not
Never
enough toilet
put,
paper.
we will never, none of us will ever put another roll of toilet paper tubes in the garbage ever again. We will always rip them up. I have a paper shredder. So I just like, I really just go, it goes right in the paper shredder. I undo it, like I unroll it like one of those snap, those muffins,
Yeah.
what are they, croissants? Those snap croissant things that are
Yes,
so
yeah.
disgusting. Yeah, that's what I do with the Taylor paper. It goes right into the thing.
Well, I just want to report I'm super excited about my fruit trees. For everybody who doesn't know, I put in 6 in my front yard front last year, last March or April, and they are flowering so beautifully. At least the plum, which was the last one to go in. I actually put that one in the fall.
What else do you have, Rosemary? So you have
So mulberry, which I grew up with on my dad's farm, which you
amazing.
can't really buy in stores, I think, because they just go off really quickly. So mulberry, apple, fig, nectarine, peach, and plum.
And did you get an apricot? Oh, your apricot died.
That was the only one that died. Yeah.
And why did I think that it took like a year? No, that's not with.
Well, I planted them and I didn't really let them do any, like if I saw anything kind of fruit coming out before I cut them. Except the mulberry, because when I bought it and put it in the ground, it already had fruit on there. And I'm like, I'm not wasting these. They're so delicious. So, but the plum I'm super stoked about because it was my last one that went in and it is beautiful.
I didn't know you could grow all that here. That's
Yes.
And then so we were Joe Jamie helped me so much to make sure I was getting the right variation that would survive here because they really need to be specific ones. So she helped me select them and then source them. And then, have the 5 lemon trees in the back, which are 2 different varieties. And then my peppercorn tree, I need to also prune that. I kind of forgot about that, but it's not technically a fruit tree, but it's not also technically a nut tree. It's related to the cashew tree somehow.
is it?
And
Well,
cashew trees do really well here. And
nice.
pistachio trees do well.
I keep suggesting to my husband that there are more fruit trees we need to plant.
I want you to get another apricot because
I know.
the apricots do so well, and so do the peaches. They just do so well here, and the figs do really, really well here.
Yes.
Fig trees get huge.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I want to keep mine all manageably small because apparently with the birds and everything, sometimes you have to like net the individual fruit.
Yes.
So it needs to be, I'm not going to let them get crazy because when I bought the house, I had a couple of lemon trees that were out of control and I really chopped them this year. I hope they're going to be okay.
They'll be fine. They might not produce as much this year, but they'll be
Well,
fine.
she didn't do anything this last season anyway, so that's why I gave her the
Oh, you
chop.
know what then? So now you guys know this about fruit trees. They do this thing, especially the citrus.
Yeah.
1 year's a bounty, and the next year is not so well. So
Nothing.
you just have to know that you're going to go in a cycle. That sometimes some years are going to be better than it's just it just alternates every year.
Yeah.
So some years, and then some years, if a wind comes by and like a lot of rain and it knocks off all the blooms when they're
Yeah.
just flowering, and then they don't, and then nothing happens. So it's a little tricky. But if you have to pick a tree, I would always go with the Meyer lemon because that one does really well here.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And don't do a lime. Don't do a lime. It's not as easy. Oh, pomegranates too, and that's what Julie has. Julie has a
Mhm.
pomegranate.
Yes. I was going to ask, first of all, Rosemary, I'm so excited for your trees and I'm inspired to get more fruit trees because right now I have the lemon. Sorry, I just walked upstairs. The Meyer lemon, the pomegranate, and mandarin.
Okay. How's the
And
mandarin?
what's that?
How's the mandarin?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Joe Jamie and I planted these like between November, December. So they've kind of just been like dorm, not
Okay.
doing anything, but they're alive. That's good. Oh, Joe Jamie, the pomegranate tree, the one that like we planted in that we replaced, I
Yes.
think. No, that's not the one that we replaced. We were going to. That one we're getting leaves are sprouting.
Great.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a good news. Yes.
Really good.
But I was gonna
Yeah.
was that?
Go ahead, Julie.
I was gonna ask about these fruit trees and how to keep them fertilized or actually specifically amending the soil. Do we do that with the fruit trees?
Yes,
Yes.
and actually, I should have called you, Julie, because Valentine's Day is when you sort of start fertilizing them. So
Huh?
you need to go to the store and get that citrus fertilizer.
Yeah, I would
Citrus.
actually buy it on Amazon.
Oh,
They have
really?
it. I did a price compare. I'm pretty sure I compared the price. It's a Dr. Q's. That was what that Louis guy told me to get for him.
Yes.
Um,
Dr. Q's.
let me see what it
Yeah, the
is.
Dr. Q's is at Star,
Let me just.
Uh-huh.
but you're saying
Okay.
it's cheaper to buy it online? That's really
I think so. I mean, let's check it. Price check
Yeah.
it.
And then also on amending the soil, should we be amending it with Fox Farms, Joe Jamie, or is there like a different type of soil for trees that are not in pots? Because the Fox Farm soil says potting soil.
right.
Dr.
Right.
Not
I would
Dr. Earth 553.
what is it now?
Dr. Earth 553.
Yeah.
There we go. Here we go.
Oh, Dr. Earth. Oh, that's good to know. The fruit tree. Oh, great.
So it's for fruits and nuts, and I used it for the peppercorn too. So
Yeah, that it's time
mm,
right now, Rosemary. I mean, Julie Tran,
to fertilize.
you can fertilize. Yeah. And
Okay.
once if you get the stuff like that she's getting, is it like a
Uh-huh.
granular, Rosemary? Is it a granular?
yes, yeah, it's really fine. It's like sand almost.
So what you'd like
Okay.
to do, if you have a hand rake, it's actually nice to rake it into the soil. Did you know that?
Yes. So like for me, the way I put it, my trees in was I have mulch around them, so I have to move the mulch and then dig in. You want the ring, it's supposed to be as big as the drip line, right? So, and then you want to work it into the soil and then water it in
Good.
and
Yeah.
then remulch it.
So Julie, I wouldn't worry
Hmm.
about soil around it as much as I would just I would get the fertilizer, I would dig it in around it. Don't let it touch the bark. You want to keep it away from
Mm-hmm.
the bark, but you want it out by the roots. Dig that in
Mm-hmm.
really good and then water it really good. And then if you want to get some nice mulch, put the mulch on top.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's going
Okay.
to keep the roots cool is the mulch.
And then I don't know if
Okay.
it's all fruit trees, Joe Jamie, but I know at least lemon trees, the mulch shouldn't be also up to the root flare.
Yeah, every tree, you do not want the mulch. That's a great point, Rosemary. Just like the fertilizer, you don't want anything touching the base of the tree. You want to keep it about 2 inches out, at least 2 inches out from the base of the tree.
2 inches out. Okay.
And so you
Okay.
want and it applies for when you're planting it too, right? You want to plant it where your root flare is level,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
You want the root flare level to the soil,
I
and then
think
you
that's
want,
what happened with my apricot tree. I think it ended up being too deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
you planted wrong.
Okay. So I am getting the fertilizer,
Great.
the 552. Thank you for that, Rosemary. And then I'm getting mulch. And then am I also getting a different type of
You have
soil, Joe
to.
Jamie?
You could get you don't need any different kind of soil if you just get the Fox Farms for your beds.
So the same Fox Farms,
Yeah, you don't
that
really
the
need more
potting soil?
soil. You won't really need more soil around the base of the trees. You'll just
Uh-huh.
use the mulch because what will happen is
Okay.
the fertilizer will go down, then the mulch goes on top, and then the mulch is going to start
Okay.
decomposing.
So we just keep on adding mulch.
Yeah, keep adding mulch.
Okay. Is there a particular type of mulch or does it really matter?
Well, it does matter, any kind of mulch, but you have to be very picky and say you don't want any. Where do you get your mulch, Rosemary? You don't want anything in it, like you don't want any dyes or plastic, like you don't want
Okay.
colored mulch.
Yeah, I just got mine at Star and it was just a bark. I just asked the staff there and they pointed me to it. I wanted it to be pretty.
Yeah, I think there's a cedar bark mulch that doesn't have any color, but it's funny
Okay.
because
So just all organic,
yeah,
nothing
but
artificial.
you're going to see the people that work there don't really know.
Yeah.
They don't really know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that mine is organic. I hope it was.
Yeah, I don't even think there is organic.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you so there's a place if you guys are really, really organic, crazy people, I'm not calling that crazy. I mean, like you really want organic. I know of a place, it's called Vera Grow. Do you know about Vera Grow? Vera Grow is um, it's a lot better soil. It's a little bit of a drive out there, but it might be worth it just look it up and call them. They do a lot, they do better than Star Nursery. And they have mulch there that I know is not dyed. So Vera Grow.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm actually going to
Check
be
that
going
out.
out there Saturday and they're sort of having a fun, it's just a rock yard, basically. It's just a big yard with they have all different soils and all different mulches and compost. They have compost there too, which is hard to find. You can buy bulk compost, which is great. If you bring your own bucket, you can just fill it up and you can go off with it. But they're having a festival sort of there this weekend, so I'm going to go over there and check them out. So I'll be reporting back on Vera Grove. I've been out there before, and I do like their soil. It can
And
be.
you have an event on Sunday, yes?
I do have an event Sunday. I'm going to be speaking at the Rita Deanan Abbey Museum in Summerlin. So Anna, if you're around,
That's so
Sunday at
cool.
1 is a terrible time, but I'm doing I'm doing this, I'm really out of the box here. I called it botanical alchemy, and I'm taking uh Rita Dina has all these beautiful, she was very inspired by nature and the water and the rocks and everything. So I'm going to be taking her paintings and then using them in with talking about gardening. So it's going to be
That's
sort of fun.
cool.
It's a really pretty museum. So that's Sunday. And then after that, in 2 weeks from now, I'm doing a farm to table dinner at Dragon Ridge Country Club, which is really going to be fun. And I'm did a whole menu. I worked with a chef, and we're doing the 5 senses with the 4 elements. And so all the menu is earth, wind, fire, and water.
That's so cool too. And is that last time you did one event there, it was specific to residents?
It's Dragon Ridge. If you guys really want to go, I'll just put you on the list, and you can pay me the money and I'll just put you on the list. So it's not cheap, it's $85, but it's going to be a spectacular meal. And I've already got 20 people signed up. So it's going to be
Ooh, awesome.
out for 2 more weeks, and they're just now promoting it next week. So I think it's going to be really fun. We've got musicians going to be there playing music.
Nice.
It's
Yeah, can you send us information on that? Or did you already send information out, Julie, on that?
I haven't because I've been really
Oh, that
promoting
sounds fun.
Sunday thing, but I will send it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please do. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Farm to table. Yeah, so that's going to be fun, and it's a very lovely, lovely people. It would be a good networking if anybody wants to network. It's going to be a really cool place to go. And it's a pretty place. It's a beautiful, like I said,
It is beautiful up there.
it's really pretty there. Okay, everybody. Well, it's after 6. I'm happy to stay on if there's a couple more questions you guys want to ask. I know Christy hasn't gotten started. I know, Christy, once you get started, you're going to have a zillion and one questions. So
Is it too late to start my own tomato seeds? Because I think
too late?
darn it. Because my first round, I think they went like one day without enough water and they're sad. So
I know. Yeah, but Rosemary, I'm going to have some for you.
okay.
And I don't even know if mine are going to be too late because they're just little bitty.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't so dark. I'd take you guys out to look at my borage.
I know.
I keep thinking you porridge. Because
Porridge. She's English. Porridge. What's the porridge?
why she
Yeah, yeah.
Like
By the way, how you described, I've never heard it before, but how you described how lovely it was and how beautiful and tasty. I'm like, the name does not fit the essence of this plant.
Are you talking about borage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Borage just sounds like bleh, but like everything you described is the opposite of that.
It does. It sounds
Right?
like old stew, like made in like
Yeah, like
I don't really know. Truthfully, it's just the flowers and the I don't know anything about the leaves. They said the leaves are edible. I have never tried borage leaves. So hey, how you doing? I've never seen, but they did say they were medicinal. So I don't know.
Very cool.
Down the line, man, we're going to be so good by November, December next year. Like this year, we're going to be like little old wise ladies with our Indian herbs and cures.
I love it.
Hey,
Quick,
rosemary.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I was just going to say rosemary, the elderberry, if you get elderberry, you can make elderberry
Syrup?
and things, and it's really good for coughs and colds and things.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we actually bought some elderberry syrup from somebody who makes it locally. He was selling it at that Christmas thing in Summerlin at the ballpark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that stuff's really good. Yes,
We haven't gotten
Andy.
sick yet.
That's so cool. I didn't know we could. Okay, we can grow those as well. Amazing. Can I ask a very, very quick question? And I think I might know the answer, but I don't know. Talking about companion planting. I know I'm on my herbs, but that's where I'm at right now.
That's right.
Right? Does it matter? Do they have favorites? Do herbs
Oh,
have? You can
no,
just,
no,
because
herbs.
I like the way you have, because you have to call them herbs. I love like I want a big pot with a bunch of them, and then have.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter. No, none of them. Okay.
none of them. Not. The only thing I'm going to warn you is that the basil it's going to be huge.
That's great because that's my favorite.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be, I mean, I would get two of them. I mean, they're just great. They do well. So they're going to go, big and bushy. But yeah, the other ones, rosemary goes, oregano goes crazy like a weed. It's very much like
Mhm.
a rosemary. I mean, not
Yeah,
rosemary. The rosemary does really well here too. Yeah, they all do well.
lavender,
Oh yeah.
sage, the dill. I bought a dill plant a few months ago, and it is like 4 feet tall. It's wild,
Oh wow.
and I'm saving seeds from that.
Oh,
I love
good.
My dill is starting to flower. Is that normal
Yeah.
or
Yep.
yeah, right now? So it's pretty much done or it's about to be done.
Yep. It's going to be done. It's done now. And then if you, yeah.
Oh,
I've
sad.
just been cutting the flowers off, drying them, and letting. I mean, it's still growing. The dill's still growing.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted to talk about. I forgot about this. So when you have, we were talking about earlier how things flower, like come from flowers and flowers come from other ways. With your herbs, whatever way Anna's going to say it, with them, the basil and rosemary, they're all going to get those little flowers. If you will keep cutting those flowers off, it will help keep the plant growing more and more and more. Again, you want to use them as they're growing, just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. All the herbs, they just come back more and more and more. So those are really,
Oh, okay. So I can keep the dill pretty much year round then if I keep cutting them,
if you would
cutting off
cut
the
them off,
flowers.
Yeah, I think it's perennial, isn't it?
it can be. I think the sun will really, the dill doesn't really like a lot of sun, so it might go away.
Yeah,
But
yeah, got it.
yeah, I should have
What
told
about
you.
the parsley? Is
Parsley, same
parsley
thing. So
okay?
your cilantro is um is really going to be sensitive to the heat. So it's going to bolt pretty quickly, but your parsley,
Uh,
if you keep the flour off of that I think my parsley will just, it usually goes a long time.
uh-huh. And I could still, because two parsley plants is apparently not enough for me. So I
Mhm.
want to buy more. Is it okay to buy more in this
Yeah,
season and plant them?
would.
Okay.
Yeah. I would not buy cilantro right now, but I would buy
Uh-huh.
parsley.
Parsley. Okay.
Well, I started my
Yeah.
cilantro from seed just by throwing it in the pot of cilantro I already had in there, and it's probably like 2 inches tall now. Mine's
Nice.
super easy to grow here, and I love cilantro.
Well, but Julie's beds are in full sun.
Okay, yeah, mine are not.
So that's the whole difference.
Mm,
When you've got full sun, it's a little harder. And
Hmm.
really, Julie,
hmm.
you could take one of those little raised beds and put it over under more shade. You could keep more things in those. I never thought about that.
Oh
Or
yeah.
just add more
Yeah.
beds, guys. Just add more garden beds. Groceries are astronomical. We have to grow our own stuff, guys.
I know. I know. Um, well, what about the irrigation though,
See, that's what I was
Joe
gonna say.
Jamie?
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say that would be an irrigation, a little bit of an irrigation. It's definitely doable,
Challenge.
If
but
you have anything that's existing over there, like trees, you can hook into anything. I rig everything up
Ah,
like a wild,
so
like a wild person.
Julie, Eric's been out there. He could rig something for you if you needed him to.
yeah, I mean, we do have we do have plants close by,
Yeah,
like
then you can.
because
All you have to do is hook into there. It works. It's fine.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. hmm Yeah, we might have to do that because that's where I kept it, like under our like patio cover is where I kept it last year because it
And
got more shade.
right.
Hmm.
And
So
yeah, that's probably why.
we might want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
have to go, guys, but I just wanted to say thank you. Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you,
bye.
Anna.
Nice,
Bye.
really. Can't see you, but I know you're there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joji.
Love you.
Bye, love.
Bye.
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 Okay. So let's see. Anything else? So Julie, yeah, I feel like you could do a little more, like your parsley would do better under the shade, and
Yeah.
your herbs would do better under the shade instead of being out there in the full sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a pretty
Okay.
setup the way it is. I feel like if you were
I
to,
know it's so symmetrical and
I know.
beautiful. I know.
You know what I was thinking, Julie? Really, I'm almost thinking if you got some really pretty pots, put them under your shade. We could put stuff in those instead of trying to do another bed.
Mm. But I mean, as long as I can irrigate it, because I
Yeah.
don't trust myself to water
Yeah, no,
every day, you know?
you could totally irrigate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
I'll give that some thought. That'd be
okay.
fun and
Yeah,
pretty.
that's what I think. Like I've got these big pots that like that lemon tree that we took out of your garden and replanted. It's in a big
Uh,
pot and it's doing great in my house right now.
nice. Nice. Nice.
Like big pots. Those
Okay.
are fun, big pots. I don't know. You know what? My source for big pots went away, and I don't know where they are now. But there's got to be places around to get some nice big pots that are pretty.
Star Nursery, right?
Yeah, they do have
That's
some.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. If you like them, yeah. I tell
Yeah.
you that other place that has got beautiful pots is that Mojave,
Mm.
the Mojave Bloom place up in by downtown. I believe is that got some.
Mm.
So. Okay, everybody. Well, let's we'll are you all liking the little text thing that we're doing? Is that working okay? Or do we want to move it over to Facebook? What do you think?
I personally like it.
Yeah, I'm
It works
thinking,
for me.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
The
I
only
like
thing is,
them.
the only thing is, I don't know whose number is whose. Because Joe Jamie, I only have your number saved, so that's kind of the
oh,
only challenge. But maybe what we could do is we can just respond like, "Hey, this is Julie," and then we can individually save the contacts if we want.
that, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a
Yeah.
great idea.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll
Awesome.
have a great week. Let's keep chatting. Let's keep working. And this is this is a lot of fun. And we're going to be planting now, so we'll have things in the ground and more challenges.
More adventures.
More, that's it. There are
Yes.
adventures. That's right.
Beautiful. Thank you, Joe Jamie. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Christy. Bye,
Bye.
Julie.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.